I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Going into this, I had no idea how much I was gonna like this game. Usually when someone reaches out to sponsor me, it's a game that's pretty fun, but Higan Eruthyll blew my expectations out of the water. What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. As you can probably tell, I'm pretty dang sick right now. My voice has been recovering for 5 days, but I'm gonna be out of town for the next 2 weeks, so I have to record this now. So if I sound sick, it's just because I'm congested and I'm working on it. So let me tell you a little bit about this game. Basically, Higan Eruthyll is a 3D real-time strategy card game. Sounds maybe a little bit confusing. Don't assume that means it's slow. The game is very fast-paced. Because it's live action, if you don't make a move, that doesn't mean that enemies are not making a move. So it leads to super dynamic gameplay, and it means that even as a live action card game, it's very engaging. So let me show you really quickly just kind of what this looks like. So check this out. On each stage, you have an amount of deployable characters that you can use. Basically, all these characters in the bottom left are characters that you have, and you can put 4 of them out at a time. And now, as you can see, there's a sort of grid, and you can actually move characters around on this grid and put them in a particular formation. Each character has a sort of class and element, and those elements and classes can be super effective against certain enemies, and so it can be good to try to counter whatever you're up against in the higher levels of the game. Now, this is an earlier game boss, so to be honest, it's not going to be too challenging, but I definitely had to get the right characters in the right formation to make this work. And I'll talk to you guys about free-to-play friendliness and stuff in just a minute. So this character right here is sort of a tank character, and she is able to basically hold aggro on the boss and make it so that my ranged characters are not taking any damage, or my secondary characters. And the idea for that is that the bosses and the enemies in this game do deal a lot of damage. So you want to have one character up in the front, and then generally speaking, you're gonna need a healer. So we're gonna go with this character right here. I haven't gotten around to memorizing all their names yet, but I'll show you in the character section. Here we have an archer character that is going to be used to deal a ton of damage in short bursts, and so I'm gonna go ahead and put them off to the side here. And then the last character that I'll put down here is a grouping magic user. First off, we're gonna use this card. It says damage at the bottom. It's going to deal damage, and this is going to cost 4. As you can see, there's an energy thing right below the cards. So I have 10 energy right now. Basically, if I pull out a card, it sort of has this screen come up, slows down time, and I can move my target. I am now targeting the boss because he's the only thing on the field. I'm going to use that. It's going to create this sort of like grouping vortex below the boss, deal some damage, and then I have 10 energy, so I can use this 4-cost card, and I can pull it up against the boss. As you can see, again, we have an AoE, and you can go ahead and drag that up. Same deal with the archer. You're going to target the ground right beneath here, and there's actually like a lot of involvement in this game. For a game that could be classified as an auto battler because it has auto battling, it's definitely pretty involved. So as you can see, a bunch of ads have just spawned. My tank is able to stay up there, but we got to get rid of the ads. Unfortunately, they're getting stunned right now, so I can't do anything. However, I can use ults. Now, if you look over here on the left side, you can see all of these characters have sort of like a gauge that's filling up their portrait. These are ults, and so I'm going to use hers. She basically is just going to deal a ton of AoE crowd damage, which is going to be really cool, and deal a lot of damage. You can also interrupt casts on enemy bosses if you have certain abilities that hit really hard, and they can stagger enemy bosses, and that can be really helpful. So now I have 3 healing cards, so I'm going to just try to get rid of some of these. And the boss is already dead because I'm a little over leveled for this fight. But essentially, you have really cool bosses in this game that have actual mechanics, that have actual things that you need to learn how to avoid, things to interrupt, and you need to build your party composition around it. And the nice thing is that it's not hard to put together a party. At the start of the fight, you basically can hit formation, and then you can use this formation to just change up like whoever you're going to play, whoever's going to be in the front. As you can see, there's like lots of different characters. I can pull these guys off, and like this character is sort of like a rogue assassin, like high burst damage DPS, and I don't have her leveled yet, but I will show you in the character screen. This character is a free-to-play mage character. She has really high range, and she does AoE damage. So like there's a lot of stuff that you can do with building your party compositions, and it's really neat. So let me go back to the menu and I'll kind of show you guys some more stuff. So you go over here to your roster. Actually, first, let me just claim that up in the top left. You get rewards for completing challenges. There's a lot of them, and it's pretty nice. So this game is not yet released. There are 21 characters available right now on this basically beta version of the game that I'm playing. Pre-registration is open right now, so you guys can do that if you're interested. And I'll remind you guys again at the end of the video. Basically, there's 21 playable characters right now, and you get a few of them for free, and then the rest of them are all going to be gacha. And I know gacha is a huge turnoff for a lot of people, but in this gacha, you're not pulling weapons and characters, you're just pulling characters.
There are multiple gachas, but I guess what I'm saying is that takes out one of the extra elements that you usually have in other gacha games that makes it less free-to-play friendly. So in that case, this game is a bit more of a win.
So when you do a 10 pull on this, for example, you're getting 10 characters, and those characters will give you fragments if you already have them to upgrade their stars. So if you pull a 1-star character, that character can be upgraded to 2 stars, 3 stars, etc. And as you can see, they all have like sort of a 6-star maxing out, which is really, really cool. Gacha games are typically pretty off-putting for people because it's like hard to stay free to play and keep up with all the content, but there's enough characters in the game that are really good and enough ways to upgrade a lot of the less rare characters that it hasn't really been as much of an issue yet. I will tell you guys some of the better characters that I found, but first I just want to show you some examples. So this is a character that comes as a 3-star. Now this is going to be like the rarest sort of starting character, starting at a 3-star, and she is gacha only. Her name is Fene. To be honest, I'm playing without sound right now, so I can't hear what they say. But she is an archer type character. So if you look over here, fire damage, and then it says ranger. So excels at damaging at range, damage increased by 10% if no enemies are within a 2-meter radius, or decreased by 10%. I won't lie, a little bit of work to be done on the translations for the game, but the game hasn't released yet, so I'm sure they're going to fix that up. But yeah, so if you have her 2 tiles away, then she's able to get a bit of a damage bonus just because of her class. And then as I said, pyro, so she's going to actually be super effective against wind, which is going to be super effective against ice, which is better than pyro. So there's sort of like an elemental triangle thing that's going on, and you can use that to try to make your team compositions better. Having a lot of characters in this game is going to be important, but since you're always pulling characters in the gacha and you're not mixed in with weapons like Genshin Impact, for example, it's usually okay. I actually haven't done that much gacha on this game yet, which we can do some of in a minute, but I want to talk about the character designs because I really, really like these, and I also want to keep going about the classes and stuff. So this is the character that I just told you guys a little bit ago was the mage character. Her name is Issa, and she is very good. So basically, specializes in magic damage. Deploying characters of this class will increase energy recharge by 5%. So you're getting her ult faster, which is going to be super helpful. And she is going to have super cool skills. So you can look over here and see your character skills. You can also switch skills. So some characters actually have multiple different abilities that you can toggle on and off and swap with to make your party compositions even better. So this is going to be her ult. Sends an ice cross in the target direction. Deals magic damage to enemies in the iconic area. Reduces their magic resistance. And then reducing their magic resistance means that all mage characters or all characters that are dealing magic damage are going to deal a lot more damage, which is going to be super awesome. Frozen Tomb is her just normal card that you play, and it pulls enemies towards the center. And now what the cool thing with some of these characters is that they can combo together to make some really, really cool stuff. So both of these characters, Issa and then Mireia, extremely easy to get characters. These are super low star characters. I just have them 3-star because I've gotten them a few times. And Mireia is able to do some really cool stuff where she basically does an AoE of arrow rain. And so if you combine the grouping with AoE of arrow rain, then you're effectively just making a super powerful hit of burst damage on enemies, and it can be super powerful for mob clearing as well. So Issa Mireia is a very good combo. Another really good character is going to be Chlor. Chlor is really strong. She's actually one of the very first characters that you are able to get. She's free to play, and actually we can upgrade her here because we've got her in the gacha a few times. It's not like Genshin where you're going to have a hard time getting the free to play characters ranked up. As you can see, like when you awaken these characters or when you have fragments from getting copies of them, they end up getting stat boosts, which is pretty dang good. And she's good by default because her skill is a massive AoE of damage. Her ult is also another giant hit of damage. She's just a very powerful damage dealing mage character, and she hits over a wide area. She's a character that you'll want to upgrade and a character that is very good, especially in the early game. I haven't gotten to use her in any of the super late game or end game stuff, but she's a very powerful character. One of the very first characters you're going to have is going to be Euphoria.
Now, something that I really like about their character design in Higan is that they all have a super unique sort of personality that is portrayed through their character design. The 3D modeling is great. The polish is great. Everything they do is really solid. It actually reminds me of some Hoyoverse's stuff, how it's all very polished and all of the characters have their own individuality. That's how this game sort of feels, and I really enjoy how all of these character designs feel unique in their own way.
And you'll notice this in the story too. A lot of these characters get really involved. You get to learn about them. You get to learn what they have attachments to. And I'll talk about the story in just a little bit. But like, these designs are so dope. And honestly, I genuinely believe if you are a fan of Hoyoverse's designs, you will probably like some characters out of this game because honestly, they just look so sick. Like, these designs are super unique, and honestly, they're just really nice. I really like the direction they took with their character designs and just how they look. You're also going to get this 3-star character for free. Roko is going to be a good healer for you. Asa is also a free character, going to be another healer. Ume is going to be another free character for you. You get a decent amount of free characters to start, and it's going to allow you to build your party in different ways. And yeah, it's super nice to be able to go through. And once you've been playing this game for just a little bit, you'll have a whole bunch of different options to choose from when you're working on your parties, which I just think is a super fun concept for a game like this, where you're dealing with card games, live action. It's very good. So let's talk about how free to play friendly this game is. Obviously, I can't say 100% because we're in the beta and they gave me a whole bunch of a gacha currency to roll with to try to show you guys how this game works. However, as I said before, you can get 1-star characters, 2-star characters, and upgrade them a lot. And because every time you do a 10 pull like this, you're only getting characters, it's really easy to make characters better, which I didn't show you the gacha animation for that one. But like, just as an example, this is one of your starting characters, and you get these sort of fragments, these soul essence, and these soul essence are going to be used to upgrade those characters more. So that way they can be stronger and you can carry them with you throughout the end of the game. Every single character in this game has been useful in some way, shape, or form, and can be used in some way, shape, or form at some point in the game, depending on what you're playing. So let me sort of show you this gacha right quick. So you basically can just draw these sort of characters, these symbols. It's going to unlock, you're going to go through, and it's going to show you a blue, and then it's going to upgrade to a purple if you get a 2-star, and it's going to upgrade to orange if you get a 3-star. So we only got 2-star, but we got a few of them actually. You're going to go through. These are all characters. Euphoria, 2-star. Chlor, 1-star. Ume, 1-star. Issa, 2-star. Basically, you're going to see all of these, you're going to get the fragments at the end, and it's going to be really good. So now that we have these fragments, let me go ahead and show you. So now that we have some Issa fragments, I'm going to go awaken. I have 90 fragments for her, so I'm going to be able to awaken her, get her star rating up. She's going to be a 3-star now, or 4-star now, and then I'm going to have more fragments to use on her. Not enough to get her to 5 stars, but her stats are much improved from when she was a 2-star. Same with Maria, so we're going to go and take Maria. We're going to awaken her. Honestly, this is a super good mechanic for free-to-play players. The idea of leveling up your units and getting units every time you pull on a gacha, as opposed to having a bunch of random miscellaneous stuff mixed in, because that basically means that you would be limited to the units that you are able to use consistently. Whereas because these units upgrade, you are able to use whatever units that you may have that have been around with you that you've invested in. And I really like that a lot. So on the topic of free-to-play friendliness for characters, it seems to me at the very least that this game is pretty free-to-play friendly for as far as characters go. There's not necessarily different weapons you have to get for characters. They just have their weapon, you refine it, and by refining it, I mean you upgrade it. So effectively you use this weapon on the fan. We're gonna not use this weapon, use these materials. You hit modify. Once you have both of these modified, and once you have your character at level 10, you can go over here and you can hit refine. That's gonna raise your max level cap. It's basically like Ascension and other gacha games, and it's gonna be really good. So now we have level cap at 30, so we can level up Chlor, and we'll just do that real quick with some of these level up materials that we farmed yesterday. And now we have her at level 30. We can also awaken her because we got some fragments. We're not gonna be able to get her up to the next star rating, but she's 3 stars, which is a pretty decent place to be. Now let me show you sort of the caveat to that. So I'm not going to sit here and say that the entire game is extremely free to play friendly, because there is one portion of the game that you do have to work a little bit for, and that's going to be these inspirations, these little cards here. So basically these cards, I want you to think of them as stigmata. If you've ever played Honkai Impact 3rd, they're sort of like that, where you basically are going to have a main stat right here by where I'm sort of tapping, and then you're going to have set effect. And to get these, there's a couple different ways that you can get them. One of them is gacha. Now the rates on these for gacha is actually not too bad. However, it's still gacha at the end of the day, and so you're definitely going to want to invest in ways to get these without the gacha, which I will show you in just a little bit. But effectively you find these that have matching set effects. So for her, I want damage, right? I want attack percent. That would be super good, but I probably don't have this entire set because it's a 5-star set. And so what I may want to do is find another attack set here. This is going to be magic attack, and we're going to go ahead and find another one that matches this. So that's going to be another set. Now we have the 2-piece effect, and then we can also probably get the 3-piece if we have enough stuff for it, which I don't believe we do. But we do at least have the 2-piece set. And then you basically upgrade these, train these by using these sort of cards to feed into them. And you actually do get a lot of these if you actively go and farm them. So actually leveling these up isn't too bad. But basically you can go and level those up, and then those cards will increase your stats overall. And that's how you invest in your characters over level and over skill level. So actually, let me just show you how to farm things in general. The Outland is basically going to be a hub for how to get certain resources and permanent sort of like end game content, repeatable content. So if I go over here, for example, this is where I farmed up a whole bunch of these XP things. I just went and I did the same mission over and over. And because it has auto battle features, if you don't feel like farming one day, you can just set it to auto battle and it'll just take care of it. And so you can just farm those over and over and over, hands off the phone, and that can be nice. You also have this thing called Deep Maze, and Deep Maze is going to be a place where you can get some of these Starlight Revelation. Starlight Revelation is the gacha currency. You can get that daily. You can farm that up. It's not too bad. And honestly, just being able to daily farm it is super nice. If you want to get certain inspirations, as I was talking about just a second ago, you basically go over to this Mesmerizing Labyrinth. Mesmerizing Labyrinth is going to be a place where you can earn some of these different inspirations. They also have different drops. It says today's drop. These are basically 3 different things that you can earn, you can farm, and you can try for by going through this challenge. And I will show you what this is because it's a lot of fun. Okay, so this is basically like this is a roguelike mode. So every single time you clear a room, you're gonna get a sort of buff. So I'm gonna take the buff that's increase attack by 10%, and you carry that with you. Basically, you can choose one of 3 paths. Now this one is just gonna be a survey. You're only gonna get the Mark of the Otherworld, which is a currency that you can use. And if you choose a fight, you can get White Candy Finale, which is gonna be an HP based set. And if you go over here, you get the same kind of deal. It's White Candy Finale. So you can choose one of these 2 paths if you want to earn one, or you can just take the easy route, and it's going to get harder every single room you go into. It's a really good way of getting these free to play, and honestly, it just gets more challenging as you go further in. And so I have my formation already ready because I've played this before, and here's my tank up in the front. She's going to be mitigating and taking a lot of the damage for me. Healer is in the back right. I have my grouper, and then I have my AoE, and these are 2, like I said, very free to play friendly characters. This is a character you also get free to play, and I'm going to actually play this out at 2 times speed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and slam this guy down. We do a lot of damage because we're really early at the beginning, so these guys are going to die really quickly. And I can arrow rain this guy, and it's just going to be super easy, honestly. And you don't even really have to think about it. Honestly, we could just auto battle that if we wanted to. And we got Curl to Finale. So you're not always guaranteed. I'm going to go ahead and take Toughen, which is the attack bonus. You're not always guaranteed to get this one. This is just an optional, like this is a possible drop you could get, and it's going to effectively give you just a bunch of these inspirations that you can sort of farm in this way, and it's going to be free to play friendly. You also can just get a lot of fodder this way to level up your other inspirations, which will make your characters a lot stronger. And basically by continuing to go here, we're going to be able to farm up those inspirations. It's going to be a really easy way for us as a free to play player to get this. And now I'm actually going to go ahead and back out so we can just leave at any time and resume our progress. So you're not committed to that the entire time. You don't have to commit to it the entire way. You can leave at any time and just resume. Now let's talk about the story in Higan Eruthyll because it's actually really good. I've been enjoying the story. All of it sort of plays out in regular sort of cutscenes after missions, and it kind of feels seamless between each mission. You don't have to go back to the menu every time. You can just hit the continue button. Basically, you're tasked with leading the Gopher Troop, and the Gopher Troop is basically going to be a group of people or the squad that you put together. There are main characters that you're going to be playing with, but they're going to change over time as you get to meet more and more of the cast. There's sort of a sleep that feels like death that's spreading, and you basically have to save people from it. That's the simplest way I could possibly put this. I think what I like most about this game is that everything you do sort of feels important. After every few missions, or even after just some single missions, you're going to basically get cutscenes that are going to explore the lore of the world and tell you more about it, and it makes you feel really involved. You get to connect with these characters. Okay, here we have a bit of a boss fight, so now I'm gonna have to actually put my brain into this if I'm not over leveled, which I believe honestly I'm just kind of over leveled for this, so it's gonna be a little bit easier. But a lot of the time you're gonna have to put some thought into how you're fighting these, what cards to use. Like for example, right now, I don't need healing yet, but it's possible that they would have a super powerful move that they would burst me down with. So I'm actually holding on to this healing card right here. But we're gonna just kill her because we're over leveled. So it's, again, if you invest in the right characters and the right things, this game can be actually pretty easy to blow through. However, if you're gonna play like super hard end game content, you do have to use some brain cells. Let me tell you, this game actually can be really hard if you're not using your brain on some of this later stuff. And that's what makes it really good. I love that this game has very like dynamic gameplay. The cards that you pull and use in your order matter. The builds on your characters matter. The team compositions matter. And I think that's really fun. So I've really enjoyed my time on Higan Eruthyll. And the reason I wanted to cover it is because it is actually a game that I genuinely enjoy and the type of game that I like to play.
I actually got to play the closed beta 1 version of this game, and it's going to continue to improve with more content and updates to come, but it already looks really good in my opinion.
The characters remind me a lot of Hoyoverse styled characters where every character has like a very unique personality and design to them. Each character you're able to connect with on some level through like the story, and all the abilities are super fun to sort of like combo and try to figure out. So based on the beta alone, it is a very fun game. Higan Eruthyll is going to be a very successful game. I can tell you that right now based on the launch. There's going to be a market for this game. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you might find that you enjoy it too. If you're interested in the game, go check out the pre-registration. There's going to be a link in the description to go check it out. This game is going to be available on mobile, and technically, don't tell them I said this, but you could get it on an an emulator if you prefer to play on PC. I'm sure there will also be a PC port at some point. They haven't told me this, but I think it's possible and honestly pretty likely. If you are interested in pre-registering, you can also just enter the Google Play or App Store and search the game Higan Eruthyll if you want to pre-register directly. There will probably be pre-registration rewards as well, as most gacha games do. So if you're interested in checking this out, make sure to use my link in the description. I personally have had a really fun time with this game. I definitely recommend it for you guys to try if you like this type of game, the real-time action and strategy combo. If you like these sort of character designs, make sure to check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching, as you always do, and I'll catch you next time.